Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Past the Scoreboard. We're back again. I'm John Luca, of course.
And I'm Justin, and we're back here. And today we're going to be talking about a situation that we spoke about, I believe, in the first episode, was it?
I don't know. I can't remember that far back. Uh, but anyway,
Well, it
today,
was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. There you
oh
go.
yes, we're gonna talk about how the Jays are screwed. Because it's a pretty good chance that, well, pretty good. Like I say, he could come back to the team next season, but he will for sure be a free agent. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a bit shaky. So I guess
Usually when somebody's a free agent and they've had a chance to re-sign for their current team and they don't, that kind of tells me that yeah, they want to look elsewhere. When they want to look
we
elsewhere,
might be screwed.
let's start. Well, the okay, we found out that Pete Alonso is in a return with the Mets, and I
Yeah.
believe when
Oh
we
yeah.
heard that news, there were still like a few days left before the deadline to get an
Yeah,
extension,
before Vladdy gave them,
right?
I think.
So we were
There
like,
is a
okay,
few. There's a bit. Yeah,
yeah.
because
So we're
that's
like,
what we
oh,
talked about in one of the episodes, actually.
yeah. So we were like, oh, okay. We lost out on Pete Alonso, but like if we re-sign Vladdy, we'll still be decent. Um, well, that didn't happen. We lost it on Pete Alonso, and Vladdy's probably gonna go to the Yankees or Red Sox. Um, yeah. So first, let's talk
Not great.
about the fact. What does this news mean for, well, what are the prospects of this season looking like? How do you think Vlad's gonna do? That he's not looking for like he's gonna be unsigned. It's gonna be his last year on his deal.
Hmm.
He probably will have a monster year. But yeah, how do you think that's gonna play out?
I mean, you know what? Again, I think it's like you said, right? Like I think I still think he'll play well. It's just,
What does it
I
mean?
think he'll what do you call it? He'll use every bit that he has left. Probably, honestly, he'll probably do that in a way to like see if other people or other teams like what other teams want him, right? Like he'll use this season, his last season with the Jays before free agency, I guess, as like fuel because then um he can like he'll it's like a scouting thing, right? Like it's
Yeah.
giving him chance. Like obviously teams know him and they all know that he is a very talented player, but I think at the same time it's like it'll show teams if he's a fit for them or if they need him or if they don't need him or just kind of what he can do. I think in terms of playing he'll still be good as always, but um I think he said too in an interview or they were reporting that he's still doing the same routines and whatever, and it's nothing's changed, and that's the way it should be, right? So because he's still there to play. So
So I don't know how it is with with in the majors as it is to other sports. Let's say the Jays let's say Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is having a great year similar to last season, like his numbers are similar. Um,
mhm.
but the Jays suck and are out of a playoff spot by the trade deadline. Will teams go for what teams are in position to go for a rental and but also give
You
the
know
Jays
what?
back some sort of good compensation?
Yeah, like I don't know. Looking at the standings from I guess last year,
Hmm.
I think maybe. It's weird because it depends on the teams that, obviously will make the playoffs, but it also depends on the teams that have gaps, you know, where Vladdy would fit, right? Like a DH role or something, or maybe even a third baseman, obviously a first baseman because that's what he plays, but even maybe potentially a third baseman. Like I could see maybe like Detroit just because their lineup is kind of scrappy, right? So they could easily I don't know what they would give in return, right? Like I don't think there would be anything substantial enough to give back to us. However, I think they could be a good prospect, considering they did make it to the playoffs barely last year, and they went as far as like I think the American League Championship Series, or no, the American League Division Series, but still they made the most of it, right? So I think they could be one of them. Maybe he'll play third base or something, and then they already have a first baseman slash third baseman in Spencer Torkelson, so they can kind of platoon flip flop around kind of thing. But besides that, it's
What if the Dodgers got him,
that would
you
be interesting because Freddie Freeman,
That'd
shout
be,
out
yeah.
fellow Canadian, is kind of
But he
already
could
locking it down at first base.
but they can just one guy comes in one game. No, they won't do that. Yeah,
No,
so
and Freddie Freeman's kind of proven that he's a very good baseball player, so I think it's he'll definitely keep that.
yeah, so it will be, I guess, a kind of a last dance because we know Bo Bichette's probably going to be out. Um, Vlad Jr. is probably going to be out. Um, yeah, so like when looking back at last year's standings, obviously, we didn't have the best year. But I don't really see how, like, what's the direction of this team gonna be like the same time next season? I guess it all depends on like um if we're gonna do good this year, like if we're gonna win. But
Yeah, you
even
know what? I think like sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no,
I
go
think
ahead.
like it's weird because it's like they could definitely make a push for it, you know what I mean? Like I think they can definitely make it. I don't see any reason for them not to, right? It's just
What's the ceiling though? Is the ceiling just making the playoffs? Because I think that's the case, and if that's the case, like, what's the point? Like,
yeah, no, I agree with you. I think if that's the case, then it's maybe time to shake it up a little bit.
yes,
You
for
know what
sure.
I mean?
Because there's no way that, like, the only way I suggest 100% keeping Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this year is if, like, we're like at the deadline, we're first
is if
place.
we're gonna head into the finals or something like
Yeah,
that, or like
if we're
if we're
first
going to the World
place,
Series
yeah.
and
If we're a genuine World Series contender, then yes. But if not, I'm probably gonna ship him off somewhere because, like, it's just sad. Like, remember his first game back at the Montreal, the stadium. Not his
yeah,
first game back, but his first game in the preseason. I
yeah.
don't even know if it was his first game, but his first game in that
It
stadium,
was
and
that was
it,
his that was when that was his exhibition, the exhibition stadium or not exhibition stadium, but you know what I mean, right? Like the
yeah,
exhibition game that they played. That's what
and
it was.
the Jays were on this new timeline, and we were all so positive, because the future looked bright. It's now like, damn, what do you think we could have done? The Jays could have done more to capitalize on this window. Like, where do you think it all went wrong?
I think personally, I would say when it came down to who we acquired and
I was gonna say, was
maybe
giving
what
that
we gave
contract to
away.
George Springer a mistake?
I don't
I
know if
don't
I would
think
call
so.
it a
No,
mistake.
I
I don't
don't
know if
think
I would call
so.
it a mistake because he's still, for the record, he's still unreal. But again, when
Yeah,
it coming with age comes most of the, I'd say 90% of the time comes with poor performance, right? And it's just how it is. You look at all athletes, right? You look at hockey players, for example, like there's 40-year-olds in the NHL now who were first line players back when they were 18, 19, they're through their 20s, but they're playing on a fourth line role, right? Like naturally you lose it unless you're Sidney Crosby because you're just crazy. But um or Ovechkin, but you know what I mean, right? Like most of these guys, it's normal, and especially in baseball, right, where it's a game where you're already failing more than 50% of the time. It just
70. Yeah,
yeah, like if you want to like a 300 batting average, you're going 3 for 10. You could be striking out 7 different times, going
Hall of
three for
Famer.
10. Yeah, and you're still hitting 300, right? Like what are they going to say to you? So I don't think it was a mistake, but I think again, it's like we have to realize that
And also, if you go back to
the game.
2021. right? And when we signed, and
Mhm.
when Jay signed him, nobody would have been like, "Oh, this is terrible." Like,
No, 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 no. Listen,
yeah,
he came off of, he played with maybe some of the most dominant teams like in a single season, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I know Houston cheated in 2017, but, um,
they were
like,
still
listen,
good.
yeah, listen, I get it, right? I get it. I'm sure Dodgers fans get it for sure because they were the ones who lost to them. But at the same time, they have to respect that they had talent and that they were unreal. They were unreal. That team from one through nine was just crazy. You know what I mean? Like they could do everything. Their pitching staff was incredible. This from the rotation to the bullpen and just defensively and their hitting. I mean, like, yeah, they cheated, but again, it's I still think that they could have done it without that. But I
So
think that's why the Springer signing was what it is because he was part of those. He was a huge part of those teams, right? So, but yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
I'm
what were
just
you?
thinking
You were
back
going to say something?
to that team in 2021 with Marcus Simeon, uh, Vlad, Bo,
Teoscar
Chaos. Like
Hernandez,
it was that, and that team missed the playoffs, but damn, that team was so good. And they were just so fun.
Robbie Ray.
They were just so fun. Was that his Cy Young year, or is that the year
Yeah,
after?
no, no, no. That was
That
that
was the
because
year.
he got because he signed in Seattle the year after.
And I'm pretty sure Simeon finished like didn't he get
He
MVP
was
votes?
pretty. Yeah, yeah. He was not far off from becoming an MVP. So
So yeah, I mean it was I wasn't he a finalist?
yeah, or I don't know if he was a finalist, but he was in the top something. He was
Yeah, he was so
pretty.
I think he
He
also
was
set
pretty darn good.
didn't he set a record for like most home runs by a second baseman in a season? Something like that. I
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
It was yeah, yeah. He did. I remember he did that because they were saying it and like, and then we
Okay.
were like, oh, we don't know if we're
So
gonna make the playoffs.
I'm on Bleacher Report and there's an article about projecting
Shout out Bleacher Report.
set up Bleacher Report projecting seven MLB teams battling Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Um, the first question they ask is what are the chances the Blue Jays trade Guerrero? We talked about that. I'm giving it
Yeah,
probably like I'm gonna say 45-50%. Um,
yeah. I'd say 50 because
yeah.
who knows where that team will be by August, right, or by the trade deadline, right? Like who knows? Like they could be a wild card team, but again, it's like would they trade him if they're a wild card team? I don't know, right? So
Okay. They keep talking about ruling out these teams, ruling out those teams, and they've mentioned I think six teams that have a good shot. I think that's a bit too much. They mentioned seven teams. They
which
mentioned a
teams are
lot, but hold on. I might have this wrong because they don't even mention the Yankees or the Red Sox. They mention like the Mets, which is they're there. They mentioned the Rangers, the Mariners,
hmm.
the Twins,
What about Detroit?
the Tigers are here. Um,
Okay, see, so I was
the
kind of onto something ish,
the
maybe.
Royals and the Giants.
Yeah, I could see the Royals because it's the same thing. Kansas City was the same thing as Detroit. They were an awful team for a few years, right? Like I believe in the 2023 season, they lost like
Okay,
106 games or something like that, and then they made the playoffs the next year, right? Barely, but
so this is these are in this article they're talking about teams that are going to trade for him, not
yeah,
acquire
yeah.
him. So that makes sense. Um,
Hmm.
but on his list for favorites to be acquired next off season are the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Yankees. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, teams who are playing in our division will definitely want to
man,
jump on that, right?
he
So I
can't just
think,
go to like Arizona. Like he can't go to
listen,
Cincinnati.
we listen. We sent two of our own players to Arizona, and what did they do? They ended up making it the World Series. So
Like
who
he can't
knows?
just go to like Miami. It's beautiful there, beautiful weather. Team's
Not
not
a
that
not
good,
not a not a great baseball team, but you know what? If
but
but if hey, you know what? It's better than living here, I guess. But I don't.
oh,
But here's the
if
thing. I don't know. I don't know if he would want to live in the States.
well, but first off, a couple years ago, he said I'm never going to play for the Yankees. Then I got a notification
Yeah.
on my phone saying the Yankees intrigues him a couple of days ago or something like that. So
hmm
I don't know. Um, if he goes to the Yankees, I'll low-key throw up. Um,
Oh,
if
I
he
won't
goes to
throw up. I'll probably puke. I might get sick.
if he goes to the Red
All of the
Sox,
above.
if he goes to the Red
I
Sox,
would.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll get sick, but I'll probably get like a little fever. Um,
Yeah, if he goes to the Red Sox, I'll be like, oh my God, I have this really bad migraine. Jesus
yeah.
Christ! Like,
And if he goes
if he
to the
goes to if he
Mets,
yeah.
I'll just be hurt. But that's it. I'll get over it. Um,
Honestly, if he goes to the Mets, I'll be okay with it because we don't have to face him every. Because we only have to
yeah,
face him
right.
3 times a year. So
So I guess the conclude like after wrapping up, right?
yeah,
Um, what do you
it's
think the
tough
Jays
to
are? I don't
tough
even
to
know what
wrap.
question to ask. What do you think the Jays are going to do this year? How good will Vlad be? Will he get traded?
Will he get traded? I'd say no.
Okay,
How good will Vlad be? He'll be unreal. Just like he'll probably put up identical numbers to what he did last
probably.
year.
I think a bit better, if
Yeah,
anything.
maybe even yeah. If he stays consistent enough, probably better. Um, and then I guess
I
I'll flip
would
this on you. Where do you think the Jays are gonna finish?
let me just say I would like to see more home runs from him this year. Uh,
Yeah.
where do I
Oh
think the
yeah.
Jays will finish? I think probably we're the third.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it. I would still put the Orioles, Yankees above us.
Oh,
I think
for sure.
I think probably fourth in the division.
Yeah,
If
I
I'm being-
was gonna say fourth. I think Tampa Bay will be fighting with us for fifth for last. So
maybe we could. There's a world where I can see us just lighting it up and
yeah, and
competing with
sneaking it,
Boston
just
and
like
getting a wild card.
sneaking. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could see us sneaking in there, but
yeah.
to be
But
honest, I don't think we'll be fighting for first, that's for sure.
no, 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 no. If we would have gotten Alonso, then I would have said, okay, maybe competing for second place in the division,
Yeah, oh yeah.
maybe taking it to Baltimore. If we would have got
Mm.
Alonso and like let's say instead of signing Scherzer, we signed Burns.
Yeah.
If we would have
Oh
got
man,
if we would have gotten
that would have
Burns
been
and
nice.
Alonso, I would have said, okay, now we're fighting for like first place. We're a
Yeah,
top
now we
team.
actually have a little bit of a shot.
Yeah. But yeah, we just didn't really capitalize on
But that's the
a
thing, right?
lot.
It's like while other teams actually decided to sign people, we
We
didn't.
were going after Soto, Burns, um, kind of putting all the eggs in one basket, and
Yeah,
it didn't really.
as opposed to trying to pick up some little pieces
Some
that could
pieces here and there,
potentially,
but
yeah. I mean, we did, but you know,
but
not
that's
enough.
literally been the case for the past three off seasons. It feels like
hmm
last year was with Otani, and who else was it with last year? I'm missing a name. Was it Bellinger? Was it?
I guess technically Soto too because of the trade or because of yeah, because
Yeah,
he got
we were
traded,
like we
right?
were one of
So
the teams that were looking for the trade for him last year. That never happened. Okay, but reports came in. Look out for the Jays in next free agency for Soto. They're early
yeah,
favorites. It never happened. So yeah, yeah,
brutal.
I'm gonna say fourth in division. I think Vlad will have a year. Well, he'll finish close to 1,000 OPS.
Probably slightly better than what he did
Yeah.
in
What was
2024.
his OPS last season? 948 or something like that?
Yeah, it was pretty damn good.
I think he'll get around there. I would like to see
Yeah,
more home runs, more
he's just
RBIs. But how the
powerful.
hell are
You
you
know
gonna
what I mean?
how are you gonna get RBIs when nobody's on base?
Yeah, so it's like it kind of goes hand in hand, right? It's like
Right.
you
So
just don't know.
yeah. Where do I think he'll go? I think he'll go to New York if I had to pick. the Yankees specifically. If I had to pick a team, I'd probably say the Yankees, which is unfair. They're gonna have freaking Aaron Judge, um, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
and Juan Soto. Oh no, shit,
No,
my
no,
bad.
he went to the
I'm
Mets.
thinking no, no, no. I'm thinking,
If he cannot go wrong with either of the New York teams.
yeah, I was
Um,
gonna say I think either places in the Big Apple would be
he cannot,
pretty good destination,
but
even though he doesn't like
he
one of
wouldn't
them.
go wrong going to Boston too. I think
Yeah,
Boston would put,
honestly, those three teams I think
yeah,
would be pretty. They would fit in pretty well.
they've been cooking, and maybe a wild card team for him, like you said, Detroit. Um,
Oh no, sorry, I was thinking of Cody Bellinger. That's why, because
no,
Bellinger.
that's who I said too. I said there was Otani last season, and I know there was another name. I said Bellinger,
Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
Bellinger counts for this year too because we didn't end up getting him either. I don't think we bid. I don't know how much we bid on him or if we did at all,
but
but
like he doesn't move the
uh,
needle for me. So he's
no, no,
good.
no, no. He's
He's
not.
good, but he
He's
doesn't
good,
move the
but
needle.
he's not as consistent as he was
No,
in years
exactly.
past. So
Um,
I think that's okay. But yeah,
yeah. So yeah, we're screwed. This is gonna be the last dance. It's gonna be the most mid dance ever. Don't expect no waltz or
the most
tango.
mediocre, the most
It's gonna
mediocre
be,
last dance that you have ever witnessed in your life.
you know what dance it's gonna be? Have you seen Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire when when he's dancing in the street? That's the dance
Oh,
it's gonna be for the Jays this season. But yeah, that's it.
Spider-Man, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is not coming home.
It's a good one. I like what you did there. Yeah, I was gonna try to
I
make
had
it.
to.
I was trying to think of a joke of like the Blue Jays, no way home. I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
so
Blue
yeah,
Jays,
that's
Vladdy's
it for
not coming home.
this. That's really it for this
Episode.
episode. Next episode, I guess maybe we'll do hockey again. The thing with
Yeah,
hockey,
sure.
but the thing with hockey is everything's kind of dead. Like we're now at
Yeah,
the
at the
point of the
moment.
se we're now at the point of the season where most playoff spots are solidified. Do people really care if the Leafs win the Atlantic Division? I don't. It
Me
would be
neither, but you
cool.
know what? We can definitely talk about it because
It
who
would be
knows
cool
what
for them
they'll
to actually,
do
have a
so
regular
far.
season. Yeah, and winning the Atlantic Division gives us the best possible matchup. Like I think if the playoffs started today, well, no, because Florida won last night. But if the playoffs started yesterday, we would have played Detroit. Like the Leafs should wipe the floor with. Well, I say that, but like it's the NHL. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Um,
But on paper, they should be the much better hockey club,
yes.
right?
So yeah, we'll talk about that. The trade. Oh,
You
the
know what?
trade
We could
deadline. But the thing is
trade
with the
deadline,
trade
and you know
deadline
what?
is
We
all the
can
good
talk
moves are
about,
happening.
yeah, they're all happening before.
They're all happening before, so it wouldn't really
But you know what?
work.
We could
Like
also talk about, speaking of Detroit, we could talk about Cinderella stories and how there's a couple teams in the NHL who started off their seasons like in the toilet bowl, but
there's
have
Detroit, Ottawa,
Columbus is.
Columbus.
I don't know if Columbus is in a playoff spot, but they're hunting. They're,
They need to do something. Let me just say this. They really need to do something about those dang Stadium Series jerseys. They I was watching highlights last night and Columbus had like this really weird, like a bright navy blue, and Detroit's jersey looked the freaking same. I don't know, like like teams like the
stadium. Yeah, no, stadium ones are usually like it's a hit or miss. It's either like unreal or it's like
yeah,
you know
like
like it's,
I like when teams just go screw it. We're making the weirdest design ever with the weirdest colors. But like Detroit teams like Detroit, Montreal, they always play it so safe. But yeah,
yeah, it's like spice it up a little. But we'll talk about that on the next episode of
yes,
Pass the Scoreboard with
yes, we
your
will. Thank you,
boys
everybody. Thanks so much for
with your boys
watching.
Justin and
Gianluca, of course. Yes, thank you. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please hit the like, hit subscribe.
like, subscribe, and
We're
be
trying
safe
to
out there.
grow.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
trying to grow our page. We're trying to post more. We kind of suck at
Yes.
that, but we're trying. We're trying. So
Hey, this is our second thing we're gonna post within a week. So,
yeah, yeah.
so
Less
yeah.
than a week. So I think yeah, go check it out. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Have a good one.